Let's talk about 25 words that are difficult to pronounce. That's coming up. Hey everyone, my name is Wes from interactiveenglishvideos.com, and well, this channel, it's all about helping you practice and improve your English skills. And today I want to help you improve your pronunciation by teaching you 25 words that are very difficult to pronounce, and they can sometimes confuse English learners. So I'm going to tell you the word, and I will give you the meaning as well, because well, what's the point in learning how to pronounce a word if you don't know what it means? In addition, I'm also going to show you the pronunciation. That's right, you heard me correctly. I'm going to show you both the phonetic spelling and the IPA. And I think seeing this will help you understand a little bit better how to pronounce these words correctly. And finally, I am going to pronounce the word for you. I am going to say it slowly, clearly. I will say it several times, and I would also encourage you to say the word as well. Say it out loud, because that is the best way to practice your pronunciation. Keep in mind that I am from the United States, so I will be giving you the American pronunciation of these words. These are words that you might hear quite often. And actually, I just wanted to say that because often is the first word that I wanted to talk to you about. This word, it means something that happens frequently or many times. It has two syllables and the stress is on that first syllable. Often. The second syllable has that schwa sound, which is an sound. It is the most common sound in the English language, and previously I did a lesson talking about the schwa sound. I will put that up here if you want to check that out. I recommend that you do, because it is a very common sound, that sound, often. Now, this word can be a bit confusing because you're not going to hear that T. It is a silent letter, a silent T, often. It is a word that I'm being very serious right now, that I use quite often. Try to listen for it throughout this lesson and see how many times you hear me say this word often. The next word is paradigm, and this is a model or clear example of something, a paradigm. It's a noun, and it has three syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. Paradigm. That second syllable, again, it has that schwa sound, but I think that final syllable, that IGM, that spelling, can throw people off a little bit. That third syllable, I'm, paradigm. Then we have the word caveat, which is a warning to consider something before taking any action. The word has three syllables, and the stress also, it's on that first syllable. Caveat. Caveat. I think this word is a bit challenging because when you just look at the spelling, you might not think that it has three syllables, but it does. That second syllable has a long E sound. E, caveat, caveat. So you might hear somebody use this word and tell somebody, well, there's one caveat. And then they would actually tell the person whatever that warning is for them to take into consideration.
There's one caveat. The guy who runs the place is a little temperamental, frequently referred to as the soup Nazi.
Then we have cupboard, which refers to a piece of furniture that we use to store things, and it usually has shelves. Cupboard. The word has two syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. Cupboard. Notice that the word is spelled with a P, but when I say it, it sounds a little more like a B sound. Cupboard, cupboard. And the word is also very confusing because when you see it, it looks like, well, it's spelled with two words, cup and board. But you're not going to pronounce that second syllable like board. It's just going to be bird, cupboard, cupboard. And if you look around the home, I think quite often you are going to find a cupboard. Now let's talk about a few medical words, such as Alzheimer's. And sometimes you may hear it used with the word disease, and people would say Alzheimer's disease. And it's talking about a disease that results in memory loss. Alzheimer's. Now, the word has three syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. And I think that first syllable is what makes this word a little challenging. Alts. It sounds like alts. Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's.
What's his deal? Alzheimer's?
I have Alzheimer's disease.
I know people with Alzheimer's.
Then we have the word, or actually phrase, because it's two words, Heimlich maneuver. Now, this is talking about an emergency method that someone would use if a person is choking, and you would give that person the Heimlich maneuver. Now, Heimlich has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. Heimlich. And I think that second syllable, even though it's spelled with a CH, it's not a ch sound. It is more of a k sound. Heimlich. And maneuver has 3 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. This is also a challenging word to pronounce. Maneuver. The Heimlich maneuver, you would give someone the Heimlich maneuver. And then there is the word asthma, which is talking about a person who would have difficulty breathing. You would say they have asthma. The word has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. That second syllable has that schwa, again, that sound. Asthma. And again, this word, the spelling may not match up with the pronunciation because that ASTH, it's really pronounced as just like as, like a Z sound, as, asthma. Then we have the word mischievous, and this is talking about behaving in a bad way, but not usually intended to cause any real harm. You just say maybe somebody is mischievous. The word has 3 syllables. The stress is on that first syllable, and both that second and third syllable have that schwa sound. But again, the spelling can kind of throw you off when you want to say and pronounce this word. So keep that in mind, especially that second syllable, that ch sound. Mischievous. Mischievous. Say it with me. Mischievous. And then we have the word coxswain. Now, this is a word that probably you may not have heard of before because it's a word that is used in the sport of rowing or crewing. And this is the person that sits in the back of the boat, and they would give instructions to the other people who are rowing. And that person is the coxswain. It has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. Again, that second syllable can be a bit confusing, has that schwa, even though the spelling just does not look like that at all. Coxswain.
I rode crew at Harvard.
Oh, Harvard. What were you, a coxsman? What are they called?
Coxswain.
Then we have the word clothes, which is a very common word. I'm sure you know what it means. It's talking about things that we wear to cover our body. But it is a word that is a little confusing, the pronunciation, because of that spelling. It's just 1 syllable. Clothes. Clothes. Everybody is wearing clothes. I assume that you're wearing clothes. I really don't know. But as you can see, I am wearing clothes. I wear them quite often. I guess yes, not always. But okay, anyway, moving on. The next word is prescription. This is talking about a note from a doctor, and it just shows the medicine that a person needs to take. And you would get a prescription from the doctor. The word has 3 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. Prescription. Prescription. I think the word is a little confusing because of that pre. It's not a pre sound, it's more of a prescription.
Oh, I need a prescription.
What the hell is this?
It's a prescription.
We use drugs. Prescription drugs. You know, the kind a dentist has access to.
Then we have the word perspire, which just means to sweat, and somebody would perspire. The word has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, perspire. Then we have the word boo-teek, which is talking about a shop that would sell, a small shop that would sell clothes, shoes, jewelry, and you could say it is a boutique. It has 2 syllables. The stress, again, is on that second syllable. And of course, with this one, I think you can see that the spelling is not really in line with the pronunciation. Boutique, that second syllable, that T-I-Q-U-E, it's pronounced like teak, boo-teek.
You're planning on opening your own boutique?
Owner of Elizabeth Albert, a boutique that sells some of the top women's fashions on the Burbank Strip.
They're actually from a very expensive boutique.
Next is a word that is very common. We use it often, and that is police. I think many of you probably know what it means. It's talking about a person responsible for protecting people and making sure that people obey the laws. the police. Now, the word has two syllables. The stress is on that second syllable. That first syllable, you hear that schwa, that p. But that second syllable, that spelling, that L-I-C-E, is pronounced lice. Police. Police. Maybe, I hope that you never have to call the police. Then we have the word debris, which is talking about small pieces that are basically torn off of something that's larger, debris. The word has two syllables and the stress is on that second syllable, debris. Now that first syllable also, it has that schwa sound, that and that second syllable has a long E sound. Even though the spelling is a little different, we're going to end it with that long E sound, debris. Debris. Say it with me, debris. And you might use or actually hear this word if there is something like a natural disaster, an earthquake, and things get torn off, and afterwards there might be debris on the ground. Debris. Then we have marijuana. This is talking about, well, it's a plant, and when it's dried, people might smoke it, and it's still illegal in many countries, and it's called marijuana. The word has four syllables, and the stress is on that third syllable, that wa, marijuana. So say this word with me. I'll say it slowly, marijuana. That second and fourth syllable, you hear that schwa, that marijuana. So keep in mind that the spelling is nothing like the pronunciation. That third syllable, that wa, that is the stress. Marijuana.
Marijuana. It's marijuana. Marijuana.
A marijuana cigarette.
Next is the word February. This is, well, it's the second month of the year. It's a word we use quite often, and now I feel like I'm just going to catch myself saying often again and again and again. Anyway, the word has four syllables. The stress is on that first syllable, but I think this word is challenging because of those two R's in there. February. 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 Say it with me. February. Again, it's a great word to practice because you will probably use it if you are having a conversation, especially if it is the month of February. All right? February. Next is the word rural, and this is just talking about the countryside, and you may hear somebody use it with the word area, a rural area. The word has two syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable, rural. The word is challenging because those two R's in there, rural. Rural. Say it with me, rural. A rural area. Then we have the word sor'bei. And this is talking about a food of juice, water, and sugar, and it's frozen, sor'bei. It has two syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. And again, listen to the pronunciation, sor'bei. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled, sor'bei. That B-E-T is pronounced as bay, sor'bei. Let's continue with a rhyming word, which is valet. And this is a person who works at a hotel or restaurant and parks people's cars. They are the valet. The word has two syllables. The stress is again on that second syllable. And the problem is the same, that L-E-T is pronounced lay, valet.
Valet parking is $5.
We call the valet. Good thing we use valet parking.
Next is the word regime, which refers to a system of government. The word has two syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, regime. And that second syllable, notice it has that long E sound, regime, regime. And then we have the word vineyard, which is talking about land where people they would grow vines. Specifically, they would grow grapes and used for making wine. And you would say that this place, it's a vineyard, a wine vineyard. The word has two syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. And that first syllable can be a little challenging because you have that short I sound, vineyard. Vineyard, a vineyard. Next is the word coupon, and this is talking about a piece of paper or maybe even an online code that somebody can use to get something for free or at a cheaper price, and they would use a coupon. The word has 2 syllables and the stress is on that first syllable. And that first syllable can be challenging because that C-O-U is just pronounced as ku, coupon, a coupon. Then we have the word hyperbole. And this refers to the way that somebody is speaking or writing. They do this to make things sound bigger and better. And you could say that they are just using hyperbole. The word has 4 syllables and the stress is on that second syllable, hyperbole. Now, I think with this word, just keep in mind it has 4 syllables, and when you say the word, you are going to hear all 4 of those syllables. Hyperbole. That B-O-L-E is pronounced bole. For example, if I said, this is the absolute most amazing and best English channel in the world, all right, you might think that that is hyperbole. I hope not. I really hope that you do love these English lessons, but just as an example of what it means, hyperbole.
When someone says we've got people everywhere, you expect it to be hyperbole.
The girl's on fire! Enough for the hyperbole.
It is not hyperbole to say we're in a grave financial situation.
And finally, we have a very common word, which is receipt. This is, well, it's a piece of paper that shows that you've paid for something. The word has 2 syllables and the stress is on that second syllable, receipt. Now, the spelling, again, just does not match up with the pronunciation. There is a silent P in there. You are not going to hear that P. That second syllable just sounds like seat, receipt. If you go and buy something, you will probably get a receipt. Wow, that was a lot of words that we just went through. Now, I will do another lesson next week, but there's one caveat. All right, one caveat, and that is I want you to write to me in the comments, write a word that you think is difficult to pronounce, because that'll give me some ideas for future pronunciation lessons. I want to make sure that I am helping you. If you enjoyed this lesson, please hit that like button. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.